All right, I'll tell you what, I'm tired of talking about last year. I'm tired of talking about the other people. I want to talk about the team we love, the Western Alamance Warriors. Now, we're going to go through this position by position, and we're going to talk about some key contributors that we got returning and some key guys we think coming up from JVs who might fill some holes. We apologize in advance if we leave somebody out. These are just names that we've pulled out off of the rosters, and by no means, if we don't mention somebody, doesn't mean to think they can't contribute or become a star on the team. But let's start at quarterback. We return Trey McCollum. Trey was a sophomore last year, and I'll tell you what, from game 1 to game 12, or what, game 13, Trey matured before our eyes, and I'm looking for big things in 2014.
Trey matured. The good thing about last season is that it was a good season for him to have those growing pains because we had the leadership with some of the people that have graduated. He has to be our leader this year. He has to step up. There were a couple of games last year, a quarter or two here and there, that he sort of disappeared on us. Hung his head, if you remember some of the games. You saw Jay Will talking to him.
He will, and he'll, I'm sure he'll admit that.
Yep. But he can't do that this year because others are looking to him for that upbeat leadership. So it's important for Trey to be mentally strong, and I'm sure he will be.
Yeah, and by class level, Trey will be a junior this year, but by experience, he should be playing as if he's a senior.
Well, you know, and he's such a talent, and he's just so well built. I'm expecting big things out of him this year.
Yeah. So let's now move to the offensive backfield. Let's talk about running backs. We are blessed that we're going to be returning a couple of good ones. Number one, Donovan Apple. I call him YAC, YAC, yards after contact. We saw Donovan out at the 7-on-7s, and I'll tell you something. Donovan's calves are as big as my thighs. The boy from the waist down, he's powerful.
Well, he's just so strong, and he never shies away from contact. And such, you know, the nickname Yak. Donovan, the thing we need to make sure is he doesn't get hurt. He stayed pretty healthy last year.
Was a good year for Donovan.
His sophomore year, he was a little banged up. But he's going to carry the load this year back there. I mean, we're very fortunate, as you said. You know, we've got KC as well, that I love the way he runs. He's got those big legs too, and he runs low to the ground. But Donovan's going to be the man back there this year.
Absolutely. And KC Okoronkwo, he'll be coming up. KC is a big time talent too, and he'll be good. Spelling some time for Donovan. Last year Donovan ran for 1,100 yards, 17, 18 touchdowns, something like that, and I expect even bigger numbers this year.
Right.
Okay, now what's going to give Donovan those big numbers is the offensive line. Offensive line this year, we've got a couple of really good ones coming back. You know, we got Ty Parker and Lofton Johnson. They're some big boys. Ty, though, had shoulder surgery. It's been a while. I hope he's 100%.
I've talked to Ty and his parents, and they say he's fully recuperated. He did a real good job with his therapy, and he's back, and you're just not going to be able to keep Ty off the field. And that side of the line is going to be key for us this year because they are big. I mean, they are really, really big, and I'm sure we're going to use that to our advantage.
Yeah. So they're going to pave the way for Donovan. They're also going to protect Trey. The guys are going to get open and make big plays. I didn't want to mention last year, but we did lose a couple of our big time playmakers. But there's some big time playmakers coming back. In particular, Brenton Smith.
Well, Brenton showed last year in the Northern Guilford game, if you remember that pass on the sideline that he broke away for our touchdown. And he had one of those really good, quiet seasons last year. He made big plays on offense when we needed it. He made big plays on defense when we needed it. And we're going to need for him to step up a lot more this year because he's going to be counted on to do a lot more.
Yeah, and let me talk about some guys I think are going to step up at receiver this year. We've been talking about him for years too. Dexter Brower, number 3. Physically, he's off the charts. Dexter's one of those guys that something always happens. He always gets a little tweak injury here or there that sets him back. But I expect, again, big things from Dexter.
Well, I think Dexter, from his sophomore to junior year, he really bulked up, and you wonder if he maybe bulked up a little bit too much and was too tight, and the body just didn't adjust. His body's had another year to mature, and hopefully he can stay injury-free this year because we're going to need Dexter on both sides of the field this year.
Yeah. There's 2 other receivers I want to talk about, guys you may not have heard about a whole lot that hopefully will surprise you this year. Number 1, Neil Hazlett, rising senior. Neil's a big guy. I'm looking to Neil to become our possession receiver. When I watch him, I see Britton and Dexter making the big plays on the outside of the long catcher. I see Neil going across the middle on 3rd and 7, catching the pass in the middle of the field and taking the big hit but getting the first down. And number 2, a big surprise, James Hauser. Didn't know a whole lot about him until I went out to the 7-on-7s. The young man, from what I've been told and what I observed, has physically worked his tail off. He's in tremendous shape. He made some big plays in that 7-on-7 drills.
Well, Western always seems to have that 1 or 2 juniors that just go in after their junior season, just work their tail off in the weight room and work their tail off during the off season, trying to get their hands better or whatever it is that their position requires. I'm looking for these two to really help complement our core, because if you have to concentrate so much on Brenton or Dexter, that third receiver is going to be key.
Yeah, so I think we really have some weapons: quarterback, skill players, quarterback, running back, wide receivers. We're there. The hidden weapon, and by the way, I meant to mention is Britton. I know Britton's already got a college offer from Averett. May have some more that I don't know about. Another guy, the hidden weapon, that has a couple of college offers, full rides from Wofford and College of Charleston, I believe it is. It's Hunter Lamp. I don't know where to put Hunter Lamp. Hunter Lamp's going to do a little bit of everything. Primarily, he's a tight end, and he's a ferocious blocker for one, so he falls in the offensive line category. But number 2, he's a heck of a receiving target.
A mystery.
I know.
A mystery. Because we run the ball so well, and because we're going to have Donovan back there, I'm sure we're going to count on Hunter to be a blocker coming out of the backfield. However, those plays, if you think about it, you run the ball 1, 2, 3 times, and you get 1 or 2 first downs, and all of a sudden the linebackers are expecting Hunter to come out and block, and then he releases, and he's 6'5" right up the middle. That's a huge target, and I'm sure Coach Snuffer has that in mind.
Yeah, so I'm looking for big things out of Hunter, and Hunter will get double duty, maybe triple duty this year. He's going to be a specialist as well at punter. Let's talk about the specialist for a minute. We're blessed again. Western Alamance has always had a good kicking game. Hunter's going to be punting. Hunter won several awards this year. He won I forget what camp it was. He was listed as one of the top punters in the entire country. And so he's looking at scholarships from tight end and punter, so that's good.
Well, he's so tall, and he's got the long legs that really help him with his punting. In my opinion, he had a little bit of an off year last year punting.
He did.
His sophomore year was just outstanding, and he got recognition that year. And hopefully the camps after his junior year are going to propel him into the college ranks. But before we get there, let's talk about what he's going to do for Western. And a good punter can make a difference. I mean, Hunter, I've seen him have 60-yard punts, which take you punting from the 20, and all of a sudden you back them inside their 20, or your 20. So that's a powerful weapon to have.
Yeah, in a single word, Hunter's ratio or measurement stick for success or failure as a punter this year will be consistency.
Yes.
Consistency. He hits a boomer, but he's got to do it consistently. Okay, at kicker, we're going to return Tyler Billings. Tyler Billings is an outstanding kicker. So, again, just like you said, there's hidden yardage in the kicking game on kickoffs, and then when you can count on them 100% pretty much for extra points, and then field goals, which is sort of, in the high school game, is 50-50 at best. If you can get a guy that can hit a 30, 40-yard field goal, you're golden, and Tyler's a kid that can do it.
Well, field goals and then kickoffs as well. Kickoffs is kind of a lot of schools don't have a lot of time to work on kickoff receiving. So if you have a kicker that can kick it deep or into the end zone, it's just such a plus. And Coach Snuffer, remember, onside kicks.
Yeah, that's one thing you will notice about Western Alamance. Kicking is a specific game. It's a pooch kick here, pooch kick there, kick it deep, kick it. It's not just line up and kick the ball. There's strategy involved there. But yeah, that little riverboat run, as they say down in Charlotte with the Panthers, right? All right, well, let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. And to me, and this is a question mark, I'm not going to say it's a weak point or anything else. The defensive line is a big question mark for Western Alamance, even bigger with the loss for a few games of Daniel Bratcher, who broke his forearm, underwent surgery a couple weeks ago, and Daniel's doing extremely well. He'll be back before too long. But defensive line's a question mark.
Well, let's hope that Daniel's back sooner than later, because we're going to need him, especially when it comes to getting into the meat of the conference season. Defensive line is going to be a question, and my guess is that we're going to have to take some of our big guys off the offensive line and put them there. We talked about Hunter Lamp don't be surprised if Hunter Lynn ends up playing some defensive tackle or something, because he's just so big. Yeah. So I assume that we're going to have to put some people in some positions that aren't regular there, but they're such good athletes that hopefully they'll be able to keep up with the Western defense.
Yeah, hopefully. Now, where the question mark belongs at the defense, there is no question mark at linebackers. We return a couple of guys that have started for 2 years, Eli Gordon and Blake Deathridge. Both of them have proved to me that they have what it takes, and I expect the linebacker core to be the strength of the Western defense this year.
Well, certainly, and then those two are just great athletes. And if the defensive line can do just a so-so job, we have such strong linebackers that they should be able to take care of. So the front seven are going to be really, really key for us this year, and hopefully we can maintain that level that we normally have on defense.
And let's give a shout out to Blake right now. Blake verbally committed to play college baseball, Division I baseball for UNC Wilmington. He had offers from West Virginia and Elon, at least, maybe some others. But he's going to choose the baseball diamond instead of the gridiron. He's going to be playing down there on the coast for the Seahawks. So good job.
We'll go visit him.
Yeah, we'll go visit him. Good job, Blake. Now, defensive back. We've got some talent back there at well. Jumps out at me right now. Emmanuel Miles is a playmaker. He's like a little Deion Sanders. He's just got it, He might make a mistake, but then he'll make a big play.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen E grow up from the days when we were making our runs to state titles, and E was always on the sideline, and he just seemed to pick up the game, and he has. You always hear this comment. He has a good football IQ.
He does, yeah.
And he just seems to be able to get into the right position to make the right play. He made a couple big interceptions last year. I think he may have recovered the block punt against Eastern.
He did.
So E is going to be key, as are Dexter and Britton.
Yeah. E-Man recovered that blocked field goal attempt, and Britton did the block. So that's right. Now let's talk about, and further in defense, about some guys. And these are a couple of guys, again, that maybe you haven't heard of before, but I expect big things from them. A.J. Love will be a rising junior coming up. He showed some talent, and A.J. showed me a lot of work ethic. And another guy who's really caught my eye, Austin Joyce. Austin, a rising junior. He played last year on varsity, made some plays. He actually caught my eye as a sophomore. When we went out to the 7-on-7s, the man had 2 or 3 interceptions. He's grown. He's physically bulked up, and I'm expecting some big things from Austin Joyce.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Middle school last year they won undefeated. JV's
they lost one.
Okay, JV's won undefeated.
No, I'm sorry, you are right. Middle school went undefeated. JV's lost one. Won the championship.
And then the varsity lost one.
Yeah.
There's some talent somewhere in there. So yes, we lost a lot of seniors, but we also have players that know how to win football games. And these kids that you're talking about now are just going to have to step into these positions they're going to be put in. And I'm sure they've already performed at one level. Now all we have to do is just ask them to perform at another level.
Yeah. And I've been told by one of the coaches, I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to or not, but I've been told to watch the next 3 years. These kids that he's seen and coached from the Northern Alamance Pee-wees on up through middle school, the time is now. The future is bright for Western Alamance. So we're going to take just another quick break, and we're going to talk to you about some of these other people moving up from JVs that you haven't heard about yet, but you will. Okay, so now I want to talk to you, Ricky, about some of the JVs. Kay and I went to a bunch of the JV games last year, and we saw these guys, and these are the ones that caught my eyes, people who I think might move up to varsity and contribute. They're not in position groups like the varsity. You may not know them, but let me talk to you about some of the guys I know. Well, you'll recognize this name, Mende Carlton, Miguel's little brother, quote unquote. Mende had a stellar year last year at receiver for the JVs and has that same leadership ability that Miguel showed.
Well, leadership is always key. We've talked about it. He's going to be a junior this year, but there's nothing that says you have to be on the team more than 1 year if we can just step in and be that leader. So hopefully he'll bring some of that.
And he's got great hands, so he's going to be another one to watch at wide receiver, and who knows where else we might find it in playing. Zach Wilson, he was the guy we were just talking about. Little running back, 5'6", 140 he's listed at. That's generous. Zach is like let's use an analogy of a dog. Zach is a terrier that plays like a pit bull. He's just tenacious.
Well, and at this level of football, you can take a player like that and you can build around it. Because if you think about it, Donovan, he's not that big, but he just has it right here, just like all the other Warriors,
Yeah.
and they use that to their advantage. So Zach's built in that same mold.
I've never seen Zach back down from anybody. Literally, there's guys that were not twice his size, but significantly larger than him, were expecting to make a tackle, and they didn't get what they were expecting. So Zach Wilson, another one, some way, somehow, he's going to make an impact. The kicker, now we're going to the kicker game, and he won't get a lot of playing time this year on varsity because Tyler's there already. But Jake Christopher is a very good kicker, and like I said, Western's been blessed with kickers, and special teams matter, so he's one to watch out for down the road. Now, here's another one. I know you like this guy, Darius Penix, a big young man. He'll be a rising sophomore, and I guarantee I'm 99% sure he's going to be playing varsity. Last year, as a freshman, 6'2", 185.
Well, we saw him against McMichael, the game that we had so many people out, and he played quarterback most of the second half. Huge arm. I expect to see him more defensive end this year than I do because he's just so big, and he's such a good athlete. And you know at this level, you have to put your athletes on the field.
Yeah.
So, and I actually spoke with Coach Stafford during the offseason about him, and don't be surprised if he's a linebacker somewhere.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to back up a minute. I owe somebody an apology because we were talking about key losses from last year. When you said defensive end, the one guy I didn't mention, T.J. Harris. Oh my gosh, how can we replace T.J.? Maybe Darius is the future, but just a shout out to T.J. there. T.J., if you didn't know it, Winston-Salem State, playing football at Winston-Salem State. So go, man, you can do it. All right, moving down the line. Running backs. Now these guys, oh my goodness, Ricky, these guys, I saw them last year, they were outstanding. Josiah Bellamy, Preston Tootle, big young men. They're running around 6 foot, 6'1", 175, 180 as JVs. They can give us the power back that Northern Guilford's had.
Well, think about it now. I mean, 6'1", 180, 5'11". I mean, those are great sizes.
Yeah.
So now you have options. You know, if one player goes down or whatever, now you have someone else, or you can put someone else in the backfield for misdirections, whatever. Anytime you have options, you're in good shape.
Absolutely, and these guys are going to provide it. You know, so maybe this year, quote unquote, depth, and the years to come, watch them. They're going to be stars. Cody Walker, a legacy kind of guy, player. His brother played here. Cody, at defensive end, played outstanding for the JVs last year. Another guy to watch out for, Rodney Way. Rodney caught my eye. Number 43, he played at JVs. I don't know what he's going to wear this year, but I always saw Rodney in and around the ball. Somebody that's got me extremely excited, Trevante Yellock. Vontae, this kid's a player. Look at that size already, Ricky. 5'11", 195 as a sophomore. So he's got to be pushing more than that now. He's going to be a star.
Well, let's just see how hard they worked out during the offseason, because that's key. Because a lot of times in the JV, you can get away with just pure talent. When you get up to the varsity, you have to have a couple of other things than just pure talent. You have to have the strength. So let's see how well these guys worked out during the offseason, how the offseason program that Coach Snuffer and his staff has set up for these players. Let's see how they took advantage of it.
Great point. They got to want it.
Yes,
they got to want it. They got to want it. They got to want to improve. Somebody that I know has the want to is Jamie Schaffner. Jamie will be playing on the offensive line this year, in my opinion. I think Jamie's got what it takes.
Well, just to name, we've had other Schaffners come through the system before. I don't know if they're related, but
they are.
They are.
Jamie's the last.
Okay. So if it's in keeping with the predecessors, we're going to be in good shape on the offensive line.
So watch out for Jamie. Another legacy recruit, another legacy player, Matt Harper, Charlie's brother. Matt is a wild man. He needs to put on some weight, and I'm sure he will. But this kid, his motor is 100% all the time. So watch out for him.
Well, there's always room on a team for someone like that. Someone that has it, right here, and someone that's got that motor that goes 100% all the time. They're going to find a place to put them, the right place to put them on the field.
Yeah, and the last one, this kid didn't even play JV. He was on the middle school last year, and he's the only rising freshman that I know, in spite of the accolades that I've already heard. But Jake Chrisman, be a freshman this year. He won't play on varsity. I don't see any way he'll make varsity because of the talent we already have there, the depth we already have there. But he's a name to keep in mind of leading the JV team this year. And watch Jake Chrisman in the years to come. I saw him in the 7-on-7s, and I've heard the hype, and I think the hype's correct. We're going to find out. So that pretty much wraps it up. Before I do that, one thing I want to say, we've talked about all the players and everything else. We can just shout out to this Warrior coaching staff. These guys, all summer long. I mean, I follow them on Facebook and Twitter. They're always doing film study. They're always going to camps. We just don't know how lucky we are. I do, you do, but you guys need to realize that.
Well, if you're not impressed with what Western Alamance football is all about, look at the sidelines. The sidelines, the coaching staff is made up of alums, people that have coached at the Northern Alamance program, that have become part of the Western Alamance program. So it's all family, folks. And so if you don't think we have something special at Western Alamance, come talk to us and we'll tell you a little bit about the history of this football program. It's something very special, and I expect big things out of this team this year.
Yeah. So it's right at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. So kickoff will be at 7:30 in 9 days. Be there, Cummings Cavaliers, and it's going to be a good one. Ricky, we'll see you on the field.
Look forward to it.